You don't need magic. You need meaning. Because when a woman speaks with truth, perfect timing, and quiet strength, she doesn't just get noticed, she gets remembered. Not just in someone's mind, but in their body. She's felt in a way that lingers, in a way that stays. Let that truth settle in your chest for a moment. Let it breathe with you. Somewhere along the way, someone fed you a lie. They made you believe that to keep a man's attention, you had to behave a certain way. Be extra sweet, smile more, dress nicely, play it cool, reply quickly, act chill, be more fun and less real. You were handed strategies, little tricks, rules, and rehearsed performances. But even after all that, you're still wondering why it doesn't work. Why you can give so much and still feel unseen. Have you ever noticed how some women talk constantly but leave no real impression? They're speaking but no one's really listening. Then there's that other woman, the one who barely speaks, yet when she does, everything stops. Heads turn, people lean in. That's not magic, that's skill. That's a woman who understands the weight of her voice. She's not guessing. She speaks from her center, from somewhere solid and deep. And that's exactly what we're unlocking today. Before we go further, take a second for yourself. Press like, subscribe if you haven't already. Do it not for me, but because you're ready to stop being overlooked. Because if you've ever felt like you've done everything right, but still aren't truly seen, what we're about to get into might be exactly what you've been needing. Now, imagine this. You're standing by a quiet lake early in the morning. The water's still smooth like glass. You drop a tiny pebble in. Even that small pebble sends ripples all the way across. That's what powerful words do. Not loud, not flashy, just intentional. A whisper that echoes long after you've left the room. But what are most women doing? They're throwing boulders, shouting across the surface, launching word after word, hoping something will stick. It doesn't. Because the secret isn't in how much you say. It's in the energy behind your words. Here's something you might not have heard before. The subconscious mind, that deep space where true attraction lives, doesn't respond to logic. It tunes into emotion. It reacts to tone, rhythm, presence, symbols. Carl Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. That isn't just about growth, it's about relationships too. Because a man doesn't fall for you because you explain yourself clearly. He falls when you spark something inside him, something wordless, something he can't name, but can't shake either. The problem isn't your effort, it's the tools you were given. You ask, how was your day? He says, good. You follow up with, what do you do for work? He answers, then silence. Nothing sticks. Why? Because those words didn't go deep enough. They didn't reach his emotions or stir his spirit. And this is not your fault. You were taught to perform, not to connect. But that's changing today. When you learn to speak with impact, not just sound, but true emotional sharpness, everything changes. When you know not just what to say, but how to say it, when to say it, and that you truly mean it, you stop fading into the background, you start standing out. You show up with grounded calm, not anxious effort, and people feel you. He feels you. Right there, you become unforgettable. You don't need 50 clever lines. You just need 3 words spoken with full presence, in a calm but sure tone. You need that quiet confidence, the kind that makes a man stop mid-thought and think, who is she? That's not a pickup trick, that's poetry. It's not manipulation, it's magnetism. Emotional intelligence carried in rhythm. When you speak with meaning, not noise, you stop chasing attention. It starts coming to you. Let's keep going. The human mind doesn't hold on to every word. It holds on to energy. It remembers tone, rhythm, and the emotional vibe. It's not the sentence that lingers. It's how they felt when you said it. Write this down and look at it often. People may forget what you said, but they won't forget how you made them feel. That's not just a quote. It's a deep truth, especially with men. He might not recall every word you said, but if something about your presence caught him off guard, something raw and real, he'll carry that moment long after. Let me draw a picture for you. Picture a dark room filled with balloons. Each balloon says the same thing. Hey, how are you? Just checking in. It's all noise. Now imagine, instead of another balloon, you walk in with a candle. You light it. Every head turns. That's the power of your real energy when you stop rushing and start connecting. Many of you hold back from speaking deeply because of fear. Fear you won't be understood. Fear of being too much, too intense, too emotional, too serious. So you go back to the safe stuff. The hey, the what's up, the harmless chatter. But harmless doesn't leave a trace. Presence does. When your words hold emotion, when they paint a picture, hint at a story, he doesn't just hear them, he feels them. You stop being a sentence. You become an experience. Not because of the words, but because of how you delivered them. Because of who you were when you said them. So from now on, this is your new standard. No more empty texts. No more shallow talk just to fill the silence. Every message, every word, every voice note, let it come from truth. Not the edited version of you. Not the one you think he'll like. Just you. Stay close. We're about to go deeper. Let's explore how to craft moments with words that don't just grab his attention. They stay with him long after. The 3 words that don't just land, they echo. They settle in his body and replay in his mind. The kind that bypass logic and become memory. This is where the real transformation begins. Are you ready? You and me. Sounds small, doesn't it? Quiet. Nothing flashy. But don't underestimate it. These 3 words aren't just something you say. They're something you draw in the air. They build a scene, an idea, a spark. You and me. It's not a pickup line. It's a mirror. A suggestion. Say it with me. You and me. It may sound soft, even ordinary, but that's what makes it powerful. Sometimes the biggest emotional shifts don't come from grand speeches. They come from soft, simple phrases that go straight into the nervous system. When you say you and me, you're not begging, you're not asking for anything. You're simply opening a door. You're creating a visual, a feeling. You're not pushing. You're gently inviting. Here's what many people miss, especially in dating. The male subconscious doesn't react strongest to logic. It responds to images, emotions, and emotional tone. Let's make it more real. Picture Denzel Washington in a film, looking into the mirror, speaking to his younger self. He wouldn't say, just say the right thing. He'd say, son, it's not what you say, it's what it does. That's the truth. When a woman says something like you and me, with soft certainty and a spark in her eyes, it hits different. Now picture this. You're sitting across from him, the mood is light. Instead of saying, I like talking to you, you lean in slightly, smile playfully, and say, you and me could have dangerously good conversations. No, you didn't compliment, you didn't try hard. You invited him in. You created a scene that didn't exist 5 seconds ago. You and me, we'd win arguments, especially if we're on the same side. That's not a cheesy line. It's a vibe. It's a flicker of possibility. And yeah, maybe your inner voice questions it. Was that too much? What if he thinks it's silly? What if he says nothing? But remember, you're not saying it to get a reaction. You're saying it to leave an impression. And that impression, it sticks. Even if he doesn't respond, it floats in his mind. Because this isn't about chasing. It's about showing up fully. This is confidence, not control. These are the moments that stop a man, not because he feels pressure, but because he feels something open, something new. So next time the vibe is right, don't hold back. Don't disappear into silence. Don't try to act too cool. Drop the spark, show the mirror. Say it casually, like it's no big deal. Say it with depth, like it means everything. You and me. It's not a tactic, it's an invitation. It's a door. And where we're heading next, That's where timing becomes everything. Because just like a match won't light if the wood's too wet, even the best phrase won't land if the timing's off. Stick with me, we're about to sharpen this even more. This isn't about control, it's about certainty. You're not chasing his attention, you're commanding presence. Let that truth settle deep, because this is the shift. You and me works not because it's smart, but because you are. And the way you say it makes all the difference. When you say it with quiet confidence, it communicates something much deeper. I'm not hoping to be chosen, I am the choice. Remember what Jung said, the unconscious is drawn to certainty, to symbols, to assurance. When you speak from a grounded place of belief, you become that symbol in a world full of people second-guessing, doubting, shrinking. You become the lighthouse. Let's break it down again. Have you ever heard someone ask, do you maybe want to hang out sometime? That's not confidence. That's someone standing in front of a door they already have the key to, but still waiting for permission to open it. Now flip that. Try this. You and me should check out that spot downtown. That's presence. That's energy. That's leadership. That's a suggestion, not a request. And if he's aligned with your vibe, he'll follow the pull. Let me ask you this. Do you want to be remembered as the woman who tiptoed around what she felt, or the one who said something unforgivable that made him feel something real? Because here's the truth. Energy never lies. You can say all the right words, but if you say them like you're hoping they'll land, they won't. But if you speak with the knowing that your presence alone is powerful enough, that's when something shifts. That's when he tilts his head, looks at you with new eyes, and realizes she's different. It's not about being louder, it's about being deeper. It's not about being forceful, it's about being rooted. That's feminine power. It doesn't shout, it doesn't beg, it just exists. It stands steady and speaks with a quiet kind of conviction that pulls people closer. So stop waiting for an invitation. Stop asking to be chosen. Be the invitation. Because once you stop trying to prove you're enough and start speaking like someone who already knows she is, that's when the energy transforms. That's when you stop being ghosted, ignored, or overlooked and start being felt long after the moment passes. And now we're stepping into the next part, timing. That razor-sharp moment where so many women unknowingly miss the point, not because they say the wrong thing, but because they say it at the wrong time. And how to share your truth without creating pressure. Stay with me. This next part is all about accuracy. It's emotional precision. Your energy enters the room before your words even leave your mouth. Say the perfect thing with the wrong tone, the wrong timing, or nervous body language, and it falls flat before it ever has a chance. That's the part most people avoid. Because it's not just what you say, it's how your entire presence carries it. You could say you and me 100 times, but if your eyes dart away, your voice trembles, your body says, please pick me, it won't work. Not because the words are wrong, but because the energy behind them isn't solid. You and me would make a dangerous team. Watch how that shifts, depending on how it's said. One woman says it with folded arms, lowered eyes, unsure voice, almost hoping it'll be enough. The other says it with calm presence, relaxed body, direct but soft eye contact, just enough weight to feel it, without trying too hard. There's a quiet smile on her lips that says, I'm good either way. The same words, completely different energy, different feeling, different impact. You already know which one stays in his mind. That kind of calm confidence is rare, it's magnetic. It feels real. Most people don't know how to just be, they only know how to act. But here's the thing, energy doesn't lie. A man can feel whether you're standing in your power or reaching from insecurity. No matter how polished the words are, your energy always tells the real story. And you don't need to shout to be powerful. You don't need to push. What you need is presence. Look him in the eyes, not like you need something from him, but like you're simply meeting him there. Sit or stand in a way that says, I know who I am, not like your body is begging for validation, but like it already owns its worth. That quiet steadiness you feel when you're not chasing, not scrambling for the perfect line, that's your superpower. Let it carry your words, let it support your voice. When you say something meaningful, pause. Let this silence work. That's when it sinks in. That's when it reaches deeper. We shouldn't even call it confidence anymore. It's alignment. It's when your words and your body tell the same story. And when they do, when what you feel inside matches how you express it, he doesn't just hear you. He feels you. And that's the difference between a line he forgets and a phrase that lingers. Now, on to the next piece. The part most people miss: when to say it. Because timing matters. Say it too soon, feels like pressure. Say it too late, the moment's gone. Say it just right, and now you're not just talking to his brain, you're tapping into something deeper. Stay with me here, because this is where timing meets power. Don't rush it. Don't force it. A wise woman doesn't talk for reaction. She waits for the moment. And in real connection, that moment changes everything. You could have the most honest words, the calmest energy, the warmest vibe, but say "you and me" too early, and it won't feel electric. It'll feel like a pitch. And nothing kills chemistry faster than that. If it comes too soon, he'll pull back. Say it too often, it loses meaning. He stops responding to it. This isn't just about words, it's about when they're spoken. The right moment is light, easy, there's laughter. He's leaning in, he's opened the door. And that's when you slide it in. Not with pressure, not with tension, just like it belongs there. Soft and effortless. Picture it. He's talking about his favorite taco truck. You smile and say, "You and me should check that place out. See if it lives up to the hype." That's it. No tension, no performance, just a shared image, an idea, a gentle spark. You didn't ask, you stated, and then you moved on. You didn't hold your breath waiting. You didn't beg for a reaction. You trusted that if the energy was right, it would grow. That's real attraction. Not a spotlight, but a candle that keeps burning. Most women hold on too tight. They try to manage the moment. They try to get a response right then. But the woman who knows her worth, she lets the words go. She trusts the silence. She knows that silence can do what words cannot. She understands that he might think of her later when he's alone driving home, and suddenly it hits him. You and me would make a dangerous team. And he smiles, and he feels it, and he doesn't even understand why. That's not manipulation. That's meaning. That's something that lingers in his world, and if he truly felt it, you won't need to say it again. You won't need to run after anything. You'll already be there, echoing in his thoughts. This kind of woman doesn't just leave a mark. She leaves a story, a mystery, a symbol. She becomes a whisper in the back of his mind. She doesn't chase attention, she draws it, by how she moves, how she speaks, and more than anything, by how she lets go. Don't chase the reaction. Don't sit there waiting to be scored. Don't read his face looking for the right expression. Speak like a woman who knows her voice has value, especially when she doesn't fill every second with noise. Now we're entering a part most forget: silence, the space after. Because often, what you don't say is what echoes the loudest. Stay here. Let the silence be your ally. If you say the line and then instantly look for a reaction, you've already lost the magic. If you say something like "you and me" and then immediately scan his face, hoping for approval, that energy says, "I hope I got it right." But you didn't say it to earn points. You said it because it felt real. Let that truth drop into your body. The silence afterward, it's not emptiness. It's full. It's where the power lives. It's the space that lets your energy expand. That's the difference between someone who performs and someone who impacts. A truly confident woman isn't scared of silence. She embraces it. She lets her words stretch. She lets them live, even after the moment ends. Because when your tone is aligned, your timing is right, your energy is rooted, your words don't just disappear, they stay. They move through him slowly, like a seed planted in quiet soil. And what we're moving into next, that's the level where your words stop being lines and start becoming symbols.